Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Just a reminder to please keep a safe distance apart, if you would, at least 6 feet apart. We want to comply with the governor's orders. Before we get started, just a few folks that I want to recognize here with me this morning. I'm Mike Phelan. I'm the mayor of the Village of Peoria Heights. To my left is Trustee Brandon Weisenberg, Trustee Jeff Gett, Trustee Sarah DeVore, Administrator Dustin Sutton, and Stephanie Turner, the village clerk. So welcome and thank you for being here. The purpose of this press conference is to share some good news with all of you, Peoria Heights News. Last night, the Village Board of Peoria Heights approved a mortgage and rent subsidy program that is a streamlined program designed to assist village businesses in the BDD districts with rent and mortgage payments. This will be a one-page application that is intended within 10 days to get money to our businesses to help support them. Here in Peoria Heights, we're fortunate to have a very small business community that's typically family-owned. We know our business owners. They're engaged in the community. They employ a lot of people. They generate a lot of income for Peoria Heights and make Peoria Heights a special place to live. So we want to do everything that we can to help and assist those businesses. So that we'll be happy to take questions later about specifics about the program, but I want to thank the Village Board for all of their help and support on this program, and especially to the team here at the Village of Peoria Heights, Administrator Sutton and Clerk Stephanie Turner and Steve Klein with Klein and Associates. Originally, we wanted to help the businesses, and we couldn't figure out a way to do that, but Chief Sutton was tasked with finding a way to come up with a program, and in short order he did that, so we're very proud of this program. The other news we want to share with you is some budget news. As we close out the fiscal year, the Village of Peoria Heights will have a $523,000 surplus. This is very important to us, and we're very proud of this surplus, but as we head into these uncharted waters and these very difficult times that we encounter with the COVID virus, that we have got cash on hand, our fund balances are safe and they're secure, and with a lot of unknowns, having cash on hand is going to be important. So we're very diligent about spending, we're very careful, and as we move forward, we're going to continue to be very careful and spend wisely. But while we're here today, I want to ask everyone that's the Village of Peoria Heights employee to please raise your hand. If you would, you're out there, raise your hand, village employees. I want to thank all of you and everyone here in Peoria Heights for all of your efforts to help make this surplus possible. It didn't happen easily. It happened through a lot of hard work. It happened to a lot of people paying attention to what they're spending. So thank you. This puts us in a very good position financially, again, through these very difficult times we're going through. A couple of things, too, that we want to announce. Development in Peoria Heights. The Atrium Hotel continues to move forward. We had a conference call last week with the KDB Group in Farnsworth. This coming month with the Zoning Board of Appeals, this issue will be brought to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and again, all of this is subject to Zoning Board of Appeals approval and Village Board approval. But this will be a true boutique hotel, unlike any other in between St. Louis and Chicago. And if you have any questions on that, the KDB Group would be available this week to answer those questions. Also, the Pump House, which is over on Kingman. It's a village-owned property, and Pete Clarno and his wife are ready to go before the Village Zoning Board and eventually to the Village Board on a concept they have for popcorn and candy. We think it'll fit just really nicely within the neighborhood. Also, we've been made aware by Keith Hubble that the 12 Bar will be investing a significant amount of money on a rooftop bar above the Edge restaurant. So I thought I saw Chef Dustin come in. He's in the back there. He can probably answer some questions about that. We're very excited about this new concept. Some of these were in the pipeline before the COVID issue came before us, but this is something that's been revealed to us during the crisis, so we're really excited that people are willing to take the risk, that they have the faith in Peoria Heights and the business community here, that we're going to emerge from this stronger than ever, and we've got investors ready to pony up today and put money into their business in Peoria Heights, so we thank you for that. Mike Vandy was here earlier. Mike is getting ready to open Water's Edge Winery. It's a very unique concept to the region. Wine will be made right here within the village of Peoria Heights. He'll purchase the grapes from elsewhere. Mike, where are you? There you are in the back. Okay. Thank you for your investment in Peoria Heights. The Kim Group is ready to top off the townhome and the condo development. Those are underway, and the St. Jude raffle continues on the St. Jude home right on Samuel Avenue. Another thing that we've been involved in, and it began before the COVID crisis, that we've spent a lot of money and invested a lot of money in a comprehensive plan for the village of Peoria Heights. And what the comprehensive plan really is a blueprint. It's a roadmap for what we want the village to look like, not only within a year, but 5 years, 20 years down the road. So that process continues. We've had well over 100 people engaged in the process that have filled out information online, that have participated in coffees, that have participated in breakout sessions at the school. We had nearly 100 people there for that. So people in Peoria Heights and the business community and in the residents are fully engaged in this process, and we're excited about coming up with a plan and goals for the vision of Peoria Heights. At this point, we'd be happy to stop and ask or answer any questions you may have. Yes, Scott. Sarah, would you mind?
Another way to get money into the hands of business owners would be to allow them to reopen their businesses as soon as possible. It's a process that's underway in East Peoria, as I'm sure you know. Is it something the village has considered? And if not, why not?
We're following the governor's directive, and obviously, like everyone else, we're very anxious to get back into business and to have a dialogue about relaxing the restrictions. But I fully support the governor. I think he's done a magnificent job in what he's done in managing this crisis, that there's been no playbook in place before on how to react to something like this. And I also believe in a chain of command. There's a chain of command from the federal level to the state level and to the local level, and that chain of command has to be in place. I think it's a very slippery slope when you start choosing what laws you're going to enforce and what laws you're not. So I think that's a dangerous path to be on. I support all of our leaders. No one in any leadership position throughout the country, I don't think, would want to be in this position that they're in. And leaders rise to the occasion, and I think our governor, again, has done a terrific job. There are things that need to be talked about. I know that sometimes it doesn't make sense that a couple hundred people could be in Lowe's or Home Depot, but you can't have 3 people in a salon. But the governor has been very willing to dialogue with local mayors. And local mayors here in the region have been sharing information amongst each other. As you probably know, as with any time there's public officials involved, there's not unanimity in what we agree upon. But it's been a very healthy conversation. I think people have come together throughout the region and throughout the country to try and solve this problem. But the science is still out there. It's undecided, and the medical community isn't unanimous in their advice. So again, we're going to follow the governor's orders here in Peoria Heights. Yeah.
Does it, in a practical sense, does it then concern you at all that a city literally 3 miles across the river from here has opened up, and what effect that could have on the village of Peoria Heights?
Yeah, of course I'm concerned. First and foremost, I think Chief Sutton and I are tasked with public safety. But obviously, we know that every day this goes on, it's that much more difficult. We see the effects of this, and it's a terrible crisis, because here in the village of Peoria Heights, we have family-owned businesses, as I mentioned earlier, and they are dependent on taking a paycheck out of those businesses. We're fully aware of that. You know, we're engaged with the business community on a daily basis. Chief Sutton and I talk about this every day. We get email updates from the EDC. Chris Setti has been excellent. Some of the mayors in the region, Mayor Artis has been excellent, Mayor Manier, Mayor Call in East Peoria. We're all engaged in conversation, but it does concern me. But what concerns me the most is that we prevent anyone else from being sick. Thanks, God. I'm going to ask Dustin to take that question, the allocation process.
Well, first of all, we have applications on hand today. If there are some business owners here, which I know I see a few in the crowd, they can see one of our staff behind me to get an application. We're also sending out everybody in our email blast. We'll be emailed today with an attachment with an application. So it might be redundant, but there's no way that you won't be covered either way. But if you are here today and would like one, feel free to contact me or one of my team behind me to get an application. If you own a business and you're in the BDD district number 1 or number 2, you will be eligible.
So the BDD is really a special service district. These businesses within the BDD collect that tax. And we've done some magnificent things with the BDD. It's helped pay for seal coating on Prospect. It's helped pay for marketing. It's helped pay for facade improvements within the village, in the BDD district itself. But we decided that the most important thing is to keep this business district intact, and that's why we're spending money that would have gone for other things. We're reinvesting it back and helping people pay for their rent and for their mortgages.
How many do you expect to apply?
I would imagine close to 200 would apply. There's approximately 135 businesses in BDD 1 and approximately 75 in BDD 2. Well, it's a cap of, we project $330,000 out of the BDD fund. We'll cover everybody if they apply again. It depends on the individual mortgage. If someone has a $1,000 mortgage and they apply, they'll get $1,000, not the $1,500. If they apply for the assistance and they have a $2,000 mortgage, they'll get $1,500. It's a max of $1,500. So, not really sure how those numbers will roll out at by the end of the month, but there is enough money in the program to cover it, those businesses.
I want to mention how some of the landlords are already told us how they're going to work with us.
Yeah, we also, like the mayor said earlier, we've been in contact with a lot of the business owners, a lot of the landlords as we worked on this program, and a lot of the landlords are really working with their tenants. And if their mortgage is more than $1,500, they're going to relax the balance. They're working with their tenant. So I think that's also a testament to the landlords here in Peoria Heights. So the turnaround time, we've tried to make this as simple as possible. We're accepting applications today. We look at a 10-day turnaround. As long as we verify their lease agreements and payments have been made, we're approximately 10 days. You should have a check.
We wanted to streamline this, not criticizing any other programs out there, but some of the business owners told us how cumbersome it was to fill out the paperwork for some of the grant programs, and the line was very lengthy. So this is, again, is a one-page application. We hope to have the money in 10 days, and we want to get it to you. We want to get it back in the economy.
So I know that the CDBG money, I know some businesses in Peoria Heights applying for that in the county. So is the hope that this money gets to businesses a little bit faster than that, maybe, which is coming from a federal source?
Well, I would imagine it would. 10 days to me is a pretty quick turnaround, and it could be sooner. But that was something we worked with our consultants with. We want to make sure it was a short application and a short turnaround.
Will you be extending that to people outside the business district that are businesses within the village?
No, this will go out to the businesses that are in the BDD 1 and BDD 2. BDD 2. If you're not in that, it will not go out to you.
We have maps. If anyone wants a map of those districts.
Right.
What's the rationale behind? I mean, I understand you got 2 business districts that you want to make beautiful, but you've got other businesses as well in the
Well,
village.
the businesses that are in the BDD 1 and BDD 2 pay into this. This is money that we've collected through the extra tax through this. So we're basically just pushing that back out into the community. They're down on Galena Road. There is no BDD. There is no TIF at this time. Therefore, that tax was not collected down there. So my rationale is that this is money collected in the BDD 1 and 2, and we're rolling that back out to the business. As the mayor said, it wasn't the initial project. It was the facade program to cover development, consulting. But with this pandemic that we're dealing with, we thought this was a much better avenue. Yeah.
You have service businesses in those districts that don't pay sales tax, but they're going to be able to apply for this. But another business that's not in that area that does collect sales tax can't get it.
Well, here's what we will. That question was brought up briefly the other night at the board meeting. Here's what I urge you to do. If you're not in the business development district, please reach out to me. And I know there's approximately 25 businesses down that are outside the BDD down on Galena Road. The mayor and I have had some dialogue on what we can do to help those businesses. But again, that is not in place at this time. So.
There's three of us right on main drag, right down from the Heights Bank, and the line goes around us.
Well, you were in BD1, I believe, aren't you?
The line goes right around us.
Now, I tried to apply for a facade, and they told me I was not eligible.
If you got the most updated map, are you sure? Because it goes north of Prospect, west on Glen. Anyway, I'll go through that with you after the conference, but I'm sure you were in it now when we extended it north and west. Yeah. Like I just mentioned, you're talking about 25 businesses, and we have discussed that. We have not put anything in place. Again, this is a tax we've collected in BDD 1, BDD 2 that we are rolling back out to the businesses. As far as Galena Road, which is not in either one, that is something that we're having dialogue now, what we can do to help them out as well. So I encourage those businesses to reach out to me and let me know if you're interested, first of all, and we'll see what we can come up with. That will be a different program. Yeah.
Based on the governor's conference yesterday, it sounds like the bars and restaurants wouldn't be able to serve probably till the end of June. I'm wondering if the village would, given the competition we're going to face from the East Peoria and some of the, my understanding in Eureka has opened up some of their restaurants and bars. I'm wondering if the village would not consider maybe for outside service for a limited group of people. The Peoria Pizza Works has a outside service where you could serve a couple people, and most of the time we're dealing with families, and if they were to be infected, which is pretty limited in this area, it would be a family of 2 or 3, and it would be an outside setting. It wouldn't be an inside setting, and we could can kind of control the amount of outside activity. I wonder if the village would consider relaxing some of those provisions of the governor's conference.
Well, we're willing to consider anything as long as we comply with safety. If there's a way for us to help businesses and to again follow the directives of the governor, do it safely, we're in favor of that. We've done small things like designate parking spaces for carry out for businesses. So we'll be getting at some point. We've got the street seats. We'll be getting out. We've got a lot of sidewalk dining here where people can dine outside in the fresh air, al fresco. So. If people have ideas, please bring them forth. We'll consider it if it fits within the governor's guidelines.